Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, you don't know what it is that I do here. I am a love coach specifically for women who want to heal and reconcile after infidelity. You have been cheated on. Yes, you have. However, you still love this person. There is something in there that is keeping you in this relationship. You love them. You wanted to be with them. You thought that the story didn't end here, of all places. And so you wanted to work it out. And everybody told you it was a bad idea. Everybody gave you a hard time about it, didn't they? Here, we do not give you a hard time about it. If you feel like it is upon your heart to forgive and to reconcile your relationship, I am perfectly for you on that because I did it myself. I know what it's like for people to constantly be telling you that you're doing the wrong thing, that you are not going to be happy, that you're going to be cheated on forever and ever. I know what it's like. And I know for sure that those people who are so certain about your future, they're wrong. They don't know about your future as well as you do. So let's get on with you having the future that you want. How about that? All right. Screw what they're saying. It is not going to be representative of what is your story. All right. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Um, it will probably make sense to you if you're like me. It's like any other thing. It takes practice. It takes doing. You can't from anything. So I don't choose to stay. There's no reason for this. I am myself 18 years old past passing first. And it's if you pick out his things that keep me and to still get things that were hurt. And I did that. It's much more simple. Start figuring out exactly what you need to do. And then some days you're a little angry that you have to do it, and that makes sense. But then if you come back to the path is always there. Always be meaning towards healing if you choose to. So speaking of the healing path, I am social media. To heal this particular I got you covered. If you don't know how to do it, it make sure you put questions about you. Okay, I got the answer exactly what you need to do. So go ahead and put them in the comments. All right. We are always going to get started and end with 5 things that you can do that will help you to regulate your system after this trauma has happened and you're trying so hard to get to your feet and trying to get regulated again. These are 5 things that you can do all by yourself. You don't need him to even start to do these things that will help you regulate your body, help your brain settle down, help you get into a state that is conducive with healing. Right now, you are traumatized, and your body and your brain are reacting as if this was a life or death situation. You keep getting these spurts of adrenaline jumping into your system. Your brain keeps giving you all the worst case scenarios and what ifs. Your heart's pounding, your lungs are hurting, your palms are sweaty, your mouth is dry. It is all that fight or flight instinct. It's that fight or flight response from your body. So what we've got to do is calm that right down. All right. That's the only way we're ever going to start to get over this trauma. The longer you are like that, the harder it is to come out of that state because your body just gets that dysregulated. And then it keeps doing that as soon as you wake up, and then it exhausts you and you pass out, and then you wake up again and you are in that state again. We've got to do something about that. We cannot continue to let that be the state that you're in. So these things that I'm going to tell you about, and the first 4 to start with, and the last one at the very end, these are the 5 practices that I tell all of my clients. Just start here. Even if you're not ready for anything else that we're doing, start here. Do these things after about a week or so. You are going to start to be ready for the things that I'm going to tell you to do in addition to these things. Okay. So, first thing I always tell everybody I have ever worked with, I need you to do your deep breathing. All right. I'm going to say it because I know you haven't been doing it. Have you? Have you been doing your deep breathing? I bet you haven't. Because when you are doing your deep breathing, that is a signal to your brain that, hey, everything is all right. I am not under attack right now. This is not a life or death situation. I am safe. It is okay. That is a signal to your body. When you are in the opposite state of that, your breath is shallow, it's shorter. You're basically sipping in air and never fully exhaling. So when you are fully inhaling a lungful of oxygen and then blowing that all out and deflating your lungs, you are sending a signal. It is showing your body that, hey, no, you got it wrong. I do not need the super deluxe response right now. I am not in that kind of danger. Don't you worry. And you instruct your body what to do. As you start doing that more often, your body starts falling into line, and then it'll calm itself down. All right. There's tons of things you can do that will calm you down, but breathing is the very first and very most basic of all of the things that you could be doing to calm down. Okay. So I need you to do your deep breathing with me. Now we are going to do deep breathing together. You just follow on along. You will have it after the first time if you don't right off the bat. All right. What we do is 4, 7, 8 breathing. We're going to blow out, make the noise of blowing, make that noise because that is a trigger to your brain as well. It not just the action of the breathing, but the sound that goes along with it. The action of blowing out that breath and exhaling fully is telling your brain that, hey, that's all the opposite of I need to freak out right now. If I am blowing out and I hear that sound, I am in control of myself. I know that there's no danger. I have surveyed. Don't you worry, brain. And so you will eventually get through to your brain that you know what you're talking about. All right. So we're going to blow out. Then we're going to inhale for a count of 4. You can breathe through your nose, through your mouth if you need to. Hold that breath for a count of 7. We are going to hold that breath so that our body can actually use this oxygen that we just breathed in. If we blow it right back out, there's no time to use it. All right. We are going to let our bodies use that oxygen, and then we are going to blow out for a count of 8. Blowing, making the noise like we're blowing out an entire cake full of birthday candles. We are blowing, we are letting that carbon dioxide out of our lungs and out into the world, releasing something. Okay. When we do this, we're going to do this 3 times together, but I need you to be doing this 5 times a day. Set an alarm on your phone, 5 separate alarms, and then do it 5 times. It'll take like a minute, okay? It does not take that much of your time. If you go ahead and do it and you are consistent about doing it, you'll be continuously bringing down that level of anxiety that has been hanging on you ever since you found this out, or hell, even before you found this out, right? All right, so we're going to do our deep breathing together. Join me, please. First things first, I want you to blow out. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful. How do you feel when you do your deep breathing? Hopefully, it changes something physically because, again, this is a trauma. So, this is a physical thing you are dealing with. Your body and your brain are changing when this is going on. So, if you are doing your deep breathing, we're taking back some of those negative changes, making them more even, calming them down. All right. All right. Any questions, comments about that? Throw them in the comments for me. Second thing that I'm always going to teach you every time we get together is I need you to be doing your journaling. How have you been doing your journaling? I need you to take the time, this self-care time, and sit down and write in your journal, okay? Does not matter what journal you get. I got a sequin fuzzy journal. I think it came from Five Below. All right. Bust this bad boy out, take a pen, and write for about 5 minutes in the morning and in the evening before you go to bed. Now, if you do this, what you are doing is you're creating some clues for yourself. All right. The first thing you are going to notice is that some things happen in the morning, some things happen in the evening. And then if you happen to want to write anytime in between there, you will find patterns in the things that happen in between there. All right. When you write these things down, your brain takes you thinks you're taking it more seriously if you write it down with pen and paper. I know most people will use a digital journal right now, something they can use in their phone. I get that. I understand how much more convenient that is, but there is something different about your brain thinking the thoughts and then manually having to take a pen and writing them down in the real world. Your brain takes that more seriously. It thinks of that as more permanent. So you writing it in your phone may not feel as permanent to your brain. Your brain knows this is paper. This is the special book with the unicorn on it with the fuzzy. All right. I know this exists in this world. I can open this book. I can find these thoughts. And these thoughts are important. These thoughts are about the trauma that is going on. And I need this body to know about the things that are going on. These are important things. If I write them down, they will be down in the real world. She can go back and look at them whenever she needs to, whenever she needs a refresher. I need those to be real. All right. It's something in your brain. Trust me on it. Just go for it. Okay. Go buy yourself a journal that you will write in. It does not matter what kind it is. Just write anything that you feel good writing in for about 5 minutes. Get that. All right. I want you to keep it to 5 minutes because I don't want you to go off and spiral out and start writing down everything that comes to mind and have your hand cramp up. Okay. You will not want to journal if you make journal an excruciating experience because you have to write everything down that is in your head. Try to keep it top of mind things, the things that bubble up to the surface, the things that are troubling you in the moment. Try to keep those simple. And you will be able to recognize the patterns a lot more. If you are using just a couple of words to describe something, and you keep seeing that you keep using those same couple of words, you will know that it's a pattern. It'll be much clearer to you with less words to try and read through. Okay. Um, you need your date, you need your time, and you need your level of anxiety when you start writing and your level of anxiety when you stop. You need the date and time because that's also going to help you figure out when things are happening inside your body from this trauma. And for your level of anxiety, first of all, it's going to prove to you that I know what I'm talking about, and journaling does help. Okay, that's the first thing that it's doing when you are doing your level of anxiety when you start, and it's higher. And then almost inevitably, when you write for about 5 minutes, it's gonna come down, and you will have those numbers every time to reinforce to your brain that this is a good practice that does bring your anxiety down. It does make you feel a little bit better inside this body. All right. When you can prove it to yourself beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's easier to do. Okay. Um, let's see. We gotta have like a fence around these feelings because these feelings will try and eat you alive. It will make you feel like the feelings are so huge that you can't manage them, and they are not. They're only as big as you. Okay, so a zero is itty bitty. Nothing is going wrong. Everything is beautiful. Maybe a little discomfort from all of the stress that you have been having, but for the most part, you're feeling good. Write that down. You need to write down when it's a zero, when it's a one, because your brain with the trauma will tell you that nothing is ever good, nothing is ever out, everything is perfect, everything is relaxed, you are not having any anxiety, nothing ever happens like that for you. Your life is always miserable, is what your brain is telling you. So if you write it down consistently that you are having 0 days and 2 days, and it's not that bad some days, it will keep it fresh in your mind that those days do happen. It's very easy. You could be having a really good week. Okay, you could be having a really good couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden, your brain will freak out again and tell you that no, no, actually, not everything is okay. Everything has actually been awful this entire time. You were just too stupid to notice it. So if you have written down evidence every day that you weren't tripping, you will know that you're gaslighting yourself. You will know that your brain and your trauma is trying to scream in your ear and tell you something that is not true because you don't have all bad days. I know it feels like you do, but you don't. Okay. Let's see. How about doing your journaling? Do your journal. Oh, do a 10. 10. 10 is always my favorite part. 10 is I want to rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. That is a 10. All right. If you are at a 10, you are not journaling. You're not sitting down with a pen in your hand, able to collect your thoughts. That's not where you're at. You're at screaming. You're at losing your voice. You're at the police might be called. You're at the neighbors are looking at you funny. Okay. That is where you are if you're a 10. Don't sit down and write, I am a 10 right now, and this is why. No, no, don't justify that. You have got to have very specific criteria for how bad it is. If it is a 10, you are beyond. You don't have any control over yourself. Okay? Does that make sense? Don't be thinking that you're a 10 when you're not a 10. Okay? All right. Don't see any questions about that. Cool. Third thing that I'm always going to talk to you about every time we get together, the practices that will help regulate and settle your body after this type of trauma has happened to you. You need to develop an attitude of gratitude. I understand that bad things happen and that kind of takes over your mind, but that is also a trauma response. Your brain, after something bad has happened, when you are afraid and it's like it feels like life or death, your brain will think that everything is bad and everything is bad at all times, and it has always been bad at all times. There was never any good that you thought. You were stupid and foolish and naive to even think that the good existed. All right. Your brain will tell you that because it wants you to be afraid. It wants you to have that motivation, that adrenaline pumping, get those muscles in action because something else bad could happen to you and you could be hurt again. So it wants you prepared for that. The problem with that is you can't stay like that all the time. If you are consistently being triggered to get into that fight or flight mode, that means your body is severely dysregulated. You are not even going to be able to see a threat coming because you are not in your right mind. You haven't been getting enough sleep. You haven't been eating enough. You haven't been drinking enough. Your body is constantly alarming. So you don't know when the real thing is there to be alarmed about. Does that make sense? I don't want you to get lost in those feelings, those negative feelings, those alarm bells going off, and miss real things that could possibly harm you. You will not be your best and most attentive self if you are constantly feeling like you are under attack. Okay? So, developing an attitude of gratitude helps you to change that way of thinking. When you are traumatized and your brain is saying that everything is always bad, it's always been bad, and you wake up every morning and you find 5 things that you can be grateful for that day, it negates that lie, that gaslighting in your head. Your brain is trying to gaslight you and tell you that nothing has ever been good in your life, and that's a damn lie. And you know that to be true, but it doesn't feel like it when you've been so hurt. So you got to remind yourself of the good things. You've got to reassure yourself that those things are real. And in spite of what your brain is telling you, yes, indeed, they are real and you can deal with them. All right. You can always have those things to hold tight to anchor you when you are stressing. You will be able to pull those things from yourself and give yourself a little bit of a leg up when the thoughts get heavy and it's stressing you out. All right. So 5 things every day. 5 things. First of all, this week I have been all about this color, OPI, chopsticks and stones. Oh my God, it's beautiful. This blue has just been doing it for me all week long. I'm about to take it off. I've had it on all week, but damn, it's so pretty. All right. I am grateful for that. I am grateful that that exists here in this realm for me to enjoy pretty paint on my fingernails. All right. I am grateful for the After Infidelity Mastermind is starting up about a week. So if you want to get in on getting with a group of women who are healing from this particular trauma with some structure, with a group to support you, you need to get in on the After Infidelity Mastermind. It is $555, half off from where it normally is, and it's got a payment plan too. If you want to do a payment plan, do 197 for 3 months, you can do that. So you will have a group of women for 12 straight weeks, all the way through the new year, to be able to talk to be able to express these things. Instead of going to him all the time, you'll be able to talk to other women who will not bully you for staying. I think that in and of itself is worth it. Okay. I think that by itself, that would help me tremendously if I had had that when I was trying to heal. Okay. Being able to talk to other people instead of going to talk to him, would have been great. All right. But I'm grateful that that's starting soon. I'm grateful for everybody who is trusting me for that journey, who is letting me guide them along through the holidays to get to a better, more stable, more healed place. I'm grateful for that. So every day, wake up 5 things and write them down in your journal and keep a list so that you can go back if you're ever feeling down and go back and read. Go back and read the things that you're grateful for. You'll be touched by it. Some of the things you'll write down, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember I did feel like that. It was really good feeling. It will remind you, and then that helps to reprogram your brain out of the trauma seeking negative responses. It always wants to look for the worst case scenario. So if you're constantly programming your brain to look for the thing to be grateful for instead of the thing to be scared of, that's what your brain will be looking for. All right. That overcomes that problem. All right. And the last thing that I'm always going to tell you when we first get started, I need you to stop asking him all those questions. I fully understand. Somebody hit me up this week, and we have had this discussion several times. And she always says to me, she was like, I need to understand the whole truth in order to be able to heal. I need to know all the details. I need to be able to recite it backwards and forwards and know all his reasons and know all the thoughts that were going on in his head. And I'm like, I tell her every time we talk, she will hit me up saying the exact same thing, and I will tell her the exact same thing, that does not work. That is a trauma response. Your brain screaming that you need every single detail is not an assistance to you healing. It will gaslight you into believing that that is going to help you heal. That knowing all the down and dirty details and every thought and every moment, every single solitary drop of it, if I know it, then I'll be able to heal. Your brain tells you that, but that's not what that's for. Your brain is not asking these questions, trying to find out all these details in order to heal. That's not what it's doing. It is intentionally trying to create distance. It is trying to say, look at how horrible this was. Every question you ask is something horrible, isn't it? If you had the details in your head, it would make you feel even worse. That is designed that way. Your brain will tell you that it's trying to help you, and it's not. It's trying to keep you isolated, keep you away from this person by finding out all these horrid details that are going to freak you out and gross you out and make you feel terrible. Okay, that is what that is. I understand that it feels like that's the path to healing. It is not. We are taking this as women, we are always supposed to talk about things. We're always supposed to go with our feelings and say our feelings and get those expressed. But with this trauma, doing that is just consistently re-traumatizing you. You are constantly reliving a painful memory and then adding more painful memories on top of it. It does not work. It is not the path of healing. I tried it. I am a Gemini. I am nosy. I want to know things. I did all the questions, and did it get me anywhere near healed? Nope. When I stopped asking the question, that's when my brain changed. When you keep on asking the questions, you're in a loop. Your brain keeps doing the same thing over and over again, and you can't really stop. You start to spiral out of control. If you are challenging what the trauma is screaming at you, if you are saying, no, I am not going to sit here and ask questions about this all day, that's going to ruin my day. I don't need to know all these answers. I know enough. I've got enough information to know that this hurt, and I don't need to know all the details of it. I already know that it hurt, and I know that I need to get past it, and trying to sit here and grovel in the details is not going to help me. You got to be firm with yourself, all right? You got to be firm with your brain as it is trying to fool you, okay? So, all that being said, I fully understand that this is a trauma response and it's like an itch in your brain, right? Your brain wants these freaking questions answered. It wants to ask. It wants to, even if you intend to not ask questions, a thing that your brain will do is it will start off with innocent questions. It will be like, well, how was your day today? And then whatever answer he gives you, it's going to lead directly into, well, what were you doing with her when you cheated? It's going to lead there because your brain is trying to fool you. It's trying to fool you into saying, oh, is that right? I can ask this innocent question. Mm-mm. You can't ask any questions for a little while. Try it. Try it this week and see, doesn't your brain like really feel like it's being stretched? But that's not a bad thing because then that slows down that itch to want to ask a question. Now, when your brain is itching and you can't do anything about it, you are just struggling and you want to ask a question, try these. These are better questions than the ones you want to ask. This is The And, TheAnd, from the people at the Skin Deep. You can find this on Amazon. And All you got to do is put in the and you will find it. They've got good questions. It's a game. This is the healing edition. So it's a game where it's like 199 questions that you can ask your significant other that are healing directed. They are supposed to help you connect a little bit more. The questions that you're asking are not to help you connect. That is not what they are doing. Trying to interrogate him more about this cheating, that is not helping you get closer together. Okay, these are designed to help you get a little closer. So, if you gotta ask a question, try this one. What do you think is the source of my joy? Wouldn't you rather know? Wouldn't you rather hear what he thinks is the source of your joy, something good instead of something terrible that he did? Wouldn't you rather hear that? I can guarantee you he would rather hear this question than any other question you have to ask him about the affair. I can promise you that. He will answer this one with never a problem tonight. Okay? What do you think is the source of my joy? All right. Next one says, what do you think I'm learning from you? Good question, right? And that's going to give you a good reflection upon what they would like you to learn from them. Even if it's not correct, listen up, because it's something that they feel like they have to offer you, and maybe you're not taking up on it. Might be like that. Never know. All right. What do you think I'm learning from you? And what surprises you most about me? Oh, yeah. My honey tells me I surprise him all the time. He thinks I'm a weirdo every day, all day. I'm constantly popping up with new things to delight and amaze. So, yeah, he'd probably just say the last few things that surprised him. But your honey might be different. You might not be so surprising. And he might have something really insightful to tell you that surprised him about you. And wouldn't you like to hear that more than the answers to what hotel did they go to? And did you tell her that you loved her? Wouldn't you rather hear the answer to what surprises you most about me? Wouldn't that be better? I think that would be better. I think that's more of a connecting question. Okay. All right. So you all let me know if you got any questions, comments, thoughts, complaints. I am here for you, love. I am answering these questions tonight in the Healing Hour Live. All right. Give me lots of likes and love in the comments. Hashtag replay. If you're catching this on the replay, let me know that you stopped through. I will answer any questions that you have too. So put them in the comments. If you are catching this on the replay, I have no problem coming back and answering your questions, letting you know how you can get on this healing path. All right. Because I'm all about this healing path. I don't feel like you should have to suffer anymore. I feel like you have experienced something that breaks a lot of people, and you're still standing. And not only are you still standing, you are still very much considering forgiveness and reconciliation in a situation where you have no like real like requirement to do so. You are choosing love. That I'm amazed by that. I'm amazed by how many people choose that. I see how many people are like, screw him, I'm gonna leave him. He cheated on me. We'll never be able to be okay again. I get that. I fully understand where that comes from, but you are saying, yes, that fearful feeling feels like it's real, but I know this love is real too. And this is what I want. This is what I want. All right. Oh, speaking of, let me just remind you, we are 5 days out from the full moon. I wanted to make sure I gave you a warning because it will come around before we see each other again. 5 days, okay? Remember, count it down. It happens on Tuesday, like 11:49 Eastern Standard, so PM. So make sure that this week you're checking yourself, okay? Your body responds to the moon. Hey, look, let's just go ahead and get over it. I don't know why people are so like they think that's so woo woo, but I'm like, we live on this planet. That moon affects this planet. Why wouldn't it affect us? That of course it would. So I was a nurse for like 25 years. I am telling you, the full moon affects people. All right, more babies are born, people act nuts. It is what it is. So just be aware of that in this week coming up. I start off this week coming up always super sleepy. I was ready to just crash. I could crash right now. I'm sleepy. But then, like 3 days out, you start rehearsing arguments and things start annoying you. And you're like, oh, she would just shut up. Lots of little, those negative thoughts are just going to start trickling in. You're going to be like, wait a minute, I wasn't mad at him about anything, was I? And it will start to get louder and louder, especially if you're still dealing with the trauma after the infidelity, because your body and your brain are already kind of hyped up. And so then as soon as you start thinking any little negative thought that comes along with the pull of this full moon and your emotions, it feels super real. It feels like I must tend to this right now. So let me give you this warning. Wait a week. All right, wait till we get back together next Thursday. If you still feel like it is super important and you must address it, talk to them about it then. But right now, assume that the moon is just messing with your emotions. It is pulling and tugging on the fluid in your body like it does on the tides in the ocean. And it's just messing with you. And you don't have to deal with this right now. Let's make this week be about self-care, doing your eating good food that you like to eat, drinking water, resting, doing your self-care. Do not make this week about dealing with him, dealing with the infidelity, trying to work through the betrayal. This is a resting week. Okay? Let's just rest. All right. All right. So let's see what I need to teach you that day. I think that, and let me know if you have questions, comments, thoughts, complaints. I am here to answer them for you. I got answers. All right. But today I think I want to tell you about the fact that people mistake fear for like intuition. People mistake that. Um, when you're healing, your intuition gets better, and you will discover that your intuition is nowhere near as loud and as scary as the fear is. The fear has a physical response in your body. You will feel it in your body. It'll vibrate through you. It's strong because it is a physical thing happening to you. Your body is actually changing in that moment. So that feels very strong and very profound, and it makes you want to listen to the fear. But a lot of the time, your body is just getting ready for that fight or flight response that you may or may not actually need. It might not actually be a life or death situation. So, when you are listening to your intuition, when you are listening to the voice of the healing, it's a lot more quiet. All right. It's a lot more still. It's a lot more of you have to center yourself and be still and be quiet and listen for that voice of your intuition. If it is shouting at you, it is fear, it is anxiety, it is not your intuition. Okay. That shouting will drown out your real life intuition about things and situations going on in your life, because it's so loud and it's so intense and your body is responding to it. Healing after this type of betrayal, after being cheated on, is terrifying. It is, it feels like when you're going through it, the fear is safer than love was. Love had you vulnerable. Love had you open. Love let this terrible thing happen to you. So fear seems like the preferable thing. And the way that it responds in your body and stirs you and screams in your brain makes it feel like it's real, makes it feel like it's the way. This is your body screaming at you, trying so hard to get you to listen to this message. So I must listen to the message. You must not listen to the message. All right. Not if you are trying to heal and reconcile and close that gap. that fear is trying to keep a gap between you. That is what that whole purpose of it screaming at you, the whole purpose of it being such a physical reaction inside your body, it is designed to try and make you separate away from that person. Get away because it feels so bad when you're near them that you have to back off. And so then your brain is like, oh, good, you'll be safe now because you're far, far away from them. All right. That is what is happening. The fear is hardwired into your body when your chest gets tight, when your stomach is clenched, and when your thoughts are racing. All of that is hardwired in, and it's so much a part of our survival instincts. You feel like that is the most real thing out here. But when you are healing, it's a difference of just that absence of that constant chaos. um it feels softer. It is much quieter when you're healing, and that feels super unfamiliar because that feeling in our body is a very familiar feeling. It has been with us in our entire lives, so we want to trust it, but it's not what you are going for. What you want is the love. You do not want the fear. You want to be able to open yourself up. If you didn't want that, this never would have happened in the first place, right? We have to figure out how to get to the place where we can be open and loving and happy in spite of this fearful, terrible thing happening to us. Does that make sense? So just remember that the fear feels very urgent and it's very loud. And love feels uncomfortable at first as you're healing. But the love is what brings you to that lasting, strong, you can rely upon it in different difficult situations, peace. You're not going to learn that from listening to the fear. That is never going to show you the path to peace. Healing from this trauma, from being cheated on, from this betrayal happening to you, is going to give you the skills that are going to carry you through every other difficult situation that will ever happen to you. You will be able to understand those things in a much clearer, much more strengthened position because you have been through this. All right. So just keep in mind that the fear feels real urgent and it's very loud. And love is going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to make you question if you're doing the right thing. But the love is what is going to bring you to peace and to healing after this infidelity. Okay? Let me know if you got questions about that. Plenty of time left. All right. So, a part of that fear is the stigma that goes along with it, right? That was a huge thing for me. I didn't tell a lot of people. I did tell some people, but for the most part, I didn't want to share it because there's such a stigma of, well, if he cheats on you, you just have to leave. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you. And I don't feel like that is right. In the situation that I was in, I was very much in love with my husband. I knew he was the one that I wanted to be with. I knew this was the person that I could marry and actually like carry out an entire lifetime with. I didn't really even believe that I could do that before. That's how much I loved him. Okay, that's how strong it was. I had no intention of getting married and living out an entire life with somebody. I did not. Okay, meeting him changed that. Meeting him was like, oh yeah, this is the person that I could do that with. I could live an entire lifetime with this dude. I like him. We could have some adventures. It could be fun. He was the only person that really brought that to mind and really made me feel like that would be a good path forward. I didn't intend to be a wife. Okay. It was not my thing. All right. So a lot of women, when this happens, you'll stay quiet about it because the world is screaming at you, you should leave, kick up to that curb. But the shame and the fear speech that is going on inside your head and that you're getting from those other people, that doesn't actually heal your heart. That just leaves this wound open and keeps women stuck. I hate for women to feel like they are stuck. That is one of my pet peeves. I don't want you to ever feel like you are painted into a corner and you don't have any moves. You have a move. If somebody is telling you that the only move that you could possibly make is to go ahead and leave, I am here to tell you that that is some bull, and you absolutely can make a different decision and stay. I understand that it's scary. I get that. I understand that your body is screaming and your brain is telling you all these horrible things, and then your friends are telling you all these horrible things. Um, I heard every criticism, everyone, all right? But shaming myself and feeling bad about my decision never helped me. Loving him did. All right. Loving him, forgiving him, continuing on with this relationship that was so profound to me. That's what healed me. All right. If you are going to put that wall up and never return back to that feeling, never return back to that love again, you might as well go ahead and let them go, because the thing that was special that made you want to stay in the first place, you're cutting yourself off from. I don't want you to cut yourself off from that. And I don't want you to feel like you're stuck and unable to move in any direction whatsoever. You can move towards the love, move towards that healing. You are not crazy for wanting love with the man you chose. All right. You are brave, downright courageous, because you're fighting for it. You know that the love is there and you are saying, damn all the consequences. This is what I want. I want this love in my life. And you are going for it. Enough to forgive, enough to let go of resentment. And you can do that. You just have to keep that in mind as you are going forward. You have to let your brain know that, yes, I am choosing this. I am choosing the love instead of the fear. I am moving forward. This is what I want. If you can tell that to your brain enough times, your brain is going to believe you and it's going to go in that direction because that's the way you told it to go. So we've got to be brave about this. That was a big thing for me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to navigate this super brave. I am going to navigate this like this is not something that can defeat me. And going about it like that is super helpful. If you just go into it saying, you know what, this is not going to defeat me. This is not going to defeat my love. I am going to be happy and I don't give a damn who has something to say about it. When you come in strong like that, it's much, much easier to do this. Okay. All right. So the last thing, oh, yes, the last thing leading from that is you get to make this decision. You are the one that this happened to. You got cheated on. All right. You get to decide what happens next. And that's only fair. And that's the D of the dreams formula, is the decision you get to make. If you try and pass this decision off to him, you're not going to be happy with the results. All right. He is not going to make this decision in a way that is going to satisfy you. No matter what he does, one way or the other, it is not going to satisfy you because it's not his decision to make. This is your decision to make. If you are choosing love and forgiveness and compassion, that has to come from inside you, and that has to be something that you experience every day. You have to wake up in the morning and decide on mercy. You have to decide on the love. You have to decide on compassion. You have to decide that this is going to work and you don't care what could stop you. That is the only way anything ever gets done, is when you decide you're going to do it and you just do it. All right. That is how that works. So every thing that you do during the day is a choice towards your healing or away from your healing. When you do your deep breathing, you are making efforts towards your healing, to regulating your body, to getting back in sync with yourself, to caring for yourself. When you choose to do your journaling, you are saying, I think that this is going to help me. I think it's going to help my brain regulate and settle. I think it's going to help me clear my thoughts. I think it's going to help me to be able to have better conversations about this in the future. I am choosing that act of healing. Everything that you choose, loving instead of arguing, all of those things are not just coping. They're not just surviving. You are rewiring your brain after a horrible trauma has happened to it and you got some damage. You are actively rewiring it, making it do what you need it to do instead of going haywire. All right. So the healing is not going to happen to you by accident. You got to make up your mind to heal. It happens when you choose it over and over and over again. People talk to me all the time and say, but I did the things. And I'm like, okay, you did them. Who told you to stop? All right. When you're trying to heal, you got to do the healing actions all the time. It's annoying. It is. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not annoying, but it's a factor. If you want to heal, you keep doing the actions of a person who has healed from this instead of the actions of a person who is still hurting from this. If you can get that simple thing down, you'll be on the way to healing sooner than you think, because it is a very straightforward path. When you are doing the actions of healing, it's pretty straightforward. It'll get you out of the woods pretty fast. When you are doing the actions of hurting, you get more lost in the woods. It gets darker. You get further and further separated from him. You're screaming to be heard now. It is taking you off that healing path and putting you on that painful hurting path, and that is leading you away from home. Happiness, love, forgiveness is leading you away from it. So you got to make that choice every single day to move in the direction of healing. It's going to be uncomfortable. I promise you that, but it is the right direction to go. You will not be stumbling around lost in the woods anymore. And that's why I created the After Infidelity Mastermind. So you don't have to wander around in the woods by yourself making these decisions alone. I know what the healing path is. I know what the choice that you can make in the moment is that will lead you down the path of healing and away from the path of hurting. I know what those things are, and I will be teaching you those things every week over 12 weeks, all the way through the new year. And this is structured support for women who are trying to stay. If you have made this decision, you're not sure how to do it, this is how you do it. This is weekly lessons, daily affirmations. I'm going to send you emails to tell you your affirmation for the day, your journal prompt for the day. You will not have to ask any questions unless you are specifically asking something about your particular circumstances. And I am there for you to answer for that too, because we've got tech support going. But you are in a community where nobody else is shaming you because they're doing the same thing you are. Like I said, that would have been worth $1 million to me. To be amongst a whole group of women who were standing up, because I felt very alone. And when I started coaching like this, I felt very alone. Like nobody is saying to stay. Nobody is doing this. And I kept finding my people. I kept finding you. I kept finding women who were staying and who didn't have any idea how to go about that, but they wanted it and they were doing it anyway. I love women like that. I love just trial and error. I know what the path is. Okay, sometimes I'll get stumbled in the woods, but I know what my path is. I want to have love and forgiveness with this particular person in spite of him being a dumbass for a period of time. All right. I love women like that. But That's a whole community of women with my After Infidelity Mastermind. This is only $555 for 3 full months, all the way through the holidays, of support and structure as you are trying to heal and reconcile after infidelity. Other women to be around who are doing the exact same thing, who will not shame you. There is no stigma. You will be amongst friends who are all going through the exact same thing, that you can support one another and get support from me personally, right? So this isn't just about you surviving the betrayal. I want you to go beyond that. I don't want you to just survive. I want you to thrive. This is about you being able to build the love story that you want from right here. It all crumbled. Fine. All right. That's okay. You can rebuild. You can get a foundation that is much, much stronger. And so then when bad things happen, we will not crumble the next time. You will not feel the need to crumble the next time because you will have the skills. You will know the things that you need to do to move on from when things don't go the way that you planned them to go. All right. So I don't want you to just survive. I want you to thrive, and I want you to thrive with other women so that you can prove to yourself that it's not just you, it is whoever puts their mind to it can thrive in this way, can live the love that they want to have. All right. So that's all I got to say about that right now. Let me make sure I don't have any questions. You all let me know if you got questions about the After Infidelity Mastermind. I am happy to answer them. Just go ahead and send me a DM if you want to. AIM. Go ahead and just send that. AIM, the After Infidelity Mastermind. Send me that, and I will give you all the lowdown about it, give you all of the links that you need to click, and let you know exactly what kind of support you are going to be receiving as you are part of this group. Okay? All right, y'all. So, coming down to the end here, real quick, one more thing of the practices. You can find the practices linked in my Instagram or on the Love After Cheating group in the pinned post, so you can find it everywhere. But the fifth of the practices, the things that you can do all by yourself to start regulating yourself, feeling better, feeling more centered, less off kilter as you are trying to heal from this trauma, is do your affirmations. Would you please do your affirmations? Lord, I need you to get on that. If you do your affirmations, I promise you, it starts to change the way that your brain is working. Remember, we talked about the gratitude practice that changes that the fact that your brain is always looking for something negative after a trauma. It is going to help you to say the positive things about yourself so that it will stop looking at you as a bad thing too. All right. You are not a bad thing. You are a wonderful thing. You are beautiful and lovely, and you are a asset to this planet just the way you are. All right. Do not sit here and believe that negative stuff your brain is saying. But if you want to believe that yourself, you're going to need to do your affirmations. All right. When you do your affirmations, you look yourself in the eye, look yourself in the camera, and say this affirmation like you mean it. Say it like it is the most true thing you have ever said. Say it like you are saying it to your best friend and you need her to believe you because you love her so much and you want her to believe these beautiful things about herself. Say it with authority. All right. And when you do that, you are reaffirming to your brain that you are not the villain here. You are the princess. You are the center of this story, and you are good, and you are kind, and you are loving, and that is who you want to be in the future. You do not want to be bitter and angry and petty forever. Nobody wants that. Okay. Some people probably want that, but I don't think you're one. Okay. You want to be happy and loved and loving going forward into the future, right? Put a purple heart in the comments if you are looking forward to be loved and loving going forward. But if you are constantly telling yourself good things about yourself, your brain will stop trying to look for terrible things about you and spitting them out at inopportune times. Now, that doesn't stop completely because our brains just do what they want to do. Sometimes they will have random negative thoughts that just pop out of nowhere. This doesn't stop that from happening, but it gives you something to hold on to when it does happen. Your brain is trying to make you believe awful things about yourself. You can go back to the for the affirmation that you said earlier about yourself. Be like, no, I have a memory of telling myself how wonderful I am. I don't believe you, and you have something to fight back with. Okay. So today's affirmation is: today I am grateful. Today my heart is filled with joy. We're doing joy at the end and joy at the beginning. Remember what brings me joy? I see the positive in everything today. Love that one. Today I am grateful. Today my heart is filled with joy. I see the positive in everything today. And that's what you need. You just need to be able to see the positive. Stop letting your brain tell you everything is negative after the trauma of infidelity. It feels like that's true, but it is not true. This is a world filled with wonders. Just because something horrible happened to you yesterday doesn't mean that something miraculous cannot happen to you today. Don't assume that your life will be pitiful and miserable forever now that you have had this trauma happen to you. You can heal. You can go back to being your queen, the queen on her throne, and the light in everybody's lives if you just decide that you can do it. Okay? All right, y'all. About it. That's all I got for you today. Don't see any questions. All right, fabulous. All right, so the rundown of the practices one more time. Do your deep breathing, do your journaling, do your gratitude practice. Stop asking him all those questions and do your affirmation. And more than anything, do not do what the fear and the pain tell you to do. That is the hurting path. If you want to be on the healing path, you do the exact opposite of whatever those screaming thoughts are telling you to do. It will be unfamiliar, it will be uncomfortable, but it will be the right direction. And that's what you need more than anything. You don't need to be comfortable right now because you're not comfortable anyway. You need to be headed in the right direction. And when you do not listen to the negative and you think about the exact opposite of what it's saying, you will find yourself on the healing path. You will get out of the woods much sooner. Okay? All right, y'all. That's it. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. Mwah! I love you and I'm so, so proud of you for trying on unconditional love. I think you are fantastic and amazing for that. And we need more people in the world like you. Okay? All right, y'all. I'll talk to you again next week. Bye.